The house is quiet in a way that feels intentional, like it's holding its breath. Not the normal quiet of an empty home, but a heavy silence that presses against your chest and makes you aware of every sound your body makes. Your breathing, your heartbeat, the faint ringing in your ears. I moved into this place 3 weeks ago because it was cheap and far from everything. A small American town, the kind with one gas station, one diner, and streets that go dark too early at night. I didn't ask many questions. I should have. The first night, nothing happened. That's important. Real fear doesn't start with screams or shadows. It starts with comfort. I slept deeply, the kind of sleep you get when your mind thinks it's finally safe. The second night, I woke up at 2:47 a.m. to the sound of footsteps above me. That would have been normal if the house had a second floor. I lay there, staring at the ceiling, counting the seconds between each step. Slow, careful, like whoever was walking knew exactly where to place their feet. I told myself it was pipes. Old houses make noise, everyone knows that. But pipes don't stop when you whisper, "Hello?" The footsteps stopped. The silence afterward was worse than the sound. It felt like the house was listening, deciding if I was worth responding to. I didn't sleep again that night. After that, small things began to change. Harmless things at first. The bathroom mirror would be fogged in the morning, even though I hadn't showered. The front door would be unlocked when I was sure I had locked it. My phone battery drained overnight, even when it was plugged in. On the fourth night, I heard breathing. Not mine. It came from the hallway outside my bedroom. Slow, wet, like someone breathing through their mouth after crying for a long time. I sat up in bed, frozen, staring at the crack under the door. A shadow passed over the light. Someone was standing there. I didn't move. I didn't speak. I didn't even blink. After a full minute, the breathing stopped. The shadow slid away. I waited until sunrise before opening the door. The hallway was empty, but the air smelled wrong, metallic, sweet, like rust and old flowers. I tried to leave that day, packed my bag, grabbed my keys, opened the front door, and found the road gone. Where the street should have been, there was only fog, thick, unmoving fog that swallowed sound and light. I took one step outside, and the cold bit straight through my shoes. My phone lost signal instantly. Panic crept up my spine. When I turned back, the house door was already closing. I barely caught it before it slammed shut. That was the moment I understood something was very wrong. This place wasn't keeping me out. It was keeping me in. That night, the knocking started. 3 slow knocks on the front door. Knock, 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 each one spaced perfectly apart. I stood in the living room, every light on, holding a kitchen knife like it meant something. The knocks came again, louder this time. I didn't answer. Then a voice spoke. "Please," it said softly, "I know you're in there." It sounded like a woman, calm, tired, familiar in a way that made my skin crawl. I didn't recognize the voice, but my body reacted as if I did, like hearing the voice of someone you once trusted. "I just need to come inside. It's cold." I backed away from the door. My heart was pounding so hard it hurt. The voice sighed. "You always do this," it said. My blood ran cold. "Do what?" I whispered, though I didn't know why I asked. "Pretend you don't remember," the voice replied. "You never remember at first." The doorknob began to turn. I screamed and ran to my bedroom, slamming the door and locking it. The knocking stopped. For a long time, nothing happened. Then I heard something new. Scratching. Not on the door, inside the walls, like fingernails dragging slowly through wood, moving from the front of the house toward my room, following me. I curled up on my bed and covered my ears, but the sound didn't stop. It got closer, louder, more desperate.
Then it stopped right behind my headboard. A whisper slid through the wall, so close I could feel breath against my ear. "You promised," it said. I didn't sleep. I couldn't. Every time my eyes closed, I saw shapes moving in the dark. Tall shapes, bent shapes, things standing just out of sight. By the seventh night, I started hearing my name. Not shouted, not whispered, spoken normally, like someone standing behind me in the kitchen when I made coffee. I began to see reflections that didn't match, in mirrors, in windows, a version of me that stood still when I moved, smiled when I didn't. One night, I caught it clearly. I was brushing my teeth when my reflection raised its hand and pressed its palm against the glass. I dropped the toothbrush and staggered back. The reflection tilted its head, curious. "You're late," it said, my mouth moving in perfect sync. "For what?" I asked, barely able to breathe. "For waking up." The lights went out. In the darkness, something grabbed my wrist. The touch was ice cold, fingers digging into my skin with bruising force. I screamed and pulled free, crashing into the wall. When the lights flickered back on, I was alone. But my wrist was bleeding. I found the basement door open the next morning. I knew I hadn't opened it. The air coming from below was freezing, carrying that same sickly sweet smell. I didn't want to go down there. I went anyway. The stairs creaked under my weight. The light switch at the bottom didn't work. My phone flashlight barely cut through the darkness. That's when I saw the writing on the wall. Names. Hundreds of them, carved deep into the concrete, layered over each other. Old names, new names, some crossed out, some circled. At the very bottom, freshly carved, was mine. Under it were the words, "You came back again." The basement door slammed shut above me. In the darkness, I heard movement. Not footsteps, something dragging itself across the floor. Wet, heavy, coming closer. I backed into the wall, my phone shaking in my hand. The light caught something pale in the corner. A face. No eyes, just smooth skin stretched tight, with a mouth that opened far too wide. It smiled at me. "You always fight at this part," it said in my voice. "What do you want?" I screamed. "To finish. You never finish." It lunged at me. I don't remember how I got out of the basement. I don't remember opening the door or running upstairs. The next thing I remember is sitting in the living room at dawn, covered in dirt and blood that wasn't all mine. The fog outside was gone. The road was back. The house looked normal. I left that morning and never looked back. That was a year ago. I live in a different city now, different apartment, different life. I tell myself it's over. But sometimes, late at night, when everything is quiet, I hear footsteps above me, and I remember, this apartment doesn't have a second floor. And last night, my bathroom mirror was fogged when I woke up. There was a message written in it, traced by a finger from the inside. "Welcome home."